Oh man, it is eye-wateringly brisk this morning. No, fuck that, it's cold. Well, hey guys, what's up? This is RogueMogul, also known as Rogul. It is a tear-inducingly cold morning in early May. So how about I tell you guys the story about the first time that I lost my driving license. Oh, you got him on the hook, man. You got him on the hook. Why doesn't anyone ever turn left here? It would be cool to get a green light someday. All right, so the year is so long ago that I can't even remember. But it was a 16-year-old RogueMogul, freshly minted driving license. The high school that I went to, we didn't have a bus system because it was a private school that was primarily for Catholic kids and troubled kids. I would like you to take a guess at which one of those two I landed in. So we didn't have a bus system, and I kind of carpooled some kids to school after I got my license, and one of those guys was in my neighborhood. I'll just use his first name to protect his identity. Actually, you know what? No, I'll change his name. His name was Stan. Why Stan? So I don't even know how we got the idea, but Stan had a video camera. Back in those days, it was videotape. None of those fancy digital cameras that we have nowadays. So we had this video camera, and we kind of rigged it up on a tripod in the back seat of my car so that I was shooting out the window. I mean, like, we were so ahead of our time. We could have done like car vlogs back then if there had actually been something called YouTube. we could have blown the car vlog market wide the fuck open. But anyhow, we would drive around in my Honda Civic with this camera in the back. Hey, cool, green light. Is it my lucky day? I guess. But what we noticed was that the camera was positioned in such a way that the engine, the exhaust noise on this Civic, which, you know, it was a little bit modified, but the exhaust noise on this Civic just made it sound like a monstrous vehicle. So we were just totally jazzed that, you know, we could drive around like idiots and then go back to his house and play it on the TV, and it would sound like we were in a fucking race car. God, we were so... kids today, you have no idea. You have no idea what it was like. You had to make your own fun back then. Sometimes it was just dumb fun. Okay, I'm starting to lose it. But yeah, it really was. It was completely pointless. It was absolutely, yeah. But we got a great kick out of it. We thought it was kind of funny. Had this camera in the car, driving around like idiots. I was doing an increasingly large number of dumb things just to see what it looked like on camera. So then it was decided, well, let's go do a top speed run on Highway 40. Oh man, how dumb. So we make the decision, well, we float the idea around, and I finally decide, yeah, fuck it, why not? Let's go for a top speed run in a 1984 Honda Civic. So we get on the highway, and I'm just giving the car all it's got. It was a manual 5-speed, and I'm just, you know, I think top of 3rd gear, going into 4th gear, just revving it out. And somewhere around, you know, maybe 2, 3, 4 miles from when we got on the highway, suddenly the radar detector just goes from 0 to 1 million. And that's when I knew that we had a problem. I stand on the brakes immediately and slow the car down as much as I can. So I get on the brakes, slow down as much as I can, and that's when I see the North Carolina State Highway Patrolman in his Crown Victoria. No, it wasn't a Crown Vic. Or was it? Yeah, it was a Crown Vic. Anyway, he is driving through the median like a madman, thinking that he's going to have to give chase. Meanwhile, at this point, I'd already hit about 60 miles an hour by braking so hard. But he's anticipating where we're going to be, so he actually ends up coming almost nearly at me, not in the road, but he's coming like almost head on toward me in the median. And I didn't know whether I should just go ahead and stop or go ahead and let him get behind me. Anyhow, I keep rolling forward, and you know, he whips it around and gets behind me. Blue lights on, sirens on, and of course I pull over. And he comes up to the window and he goes, Do you know why I pulled you over today, sir? And I'm thinking to myself, yeah, yeah, I know exactly why you're pulling me over today. So the rest of the story isn't very exciting. He does ask what the camera's for, and we just sort of say, oh, we're just kind of messing around with it, just to see what it does. And he seemed uninterested in it. But then he tells me that he clocked me doing 91 and a 55. And, you know, on the outside, that actually sounds pretty bad. But what I'm thinking to myself is, well, that's cool, because I'm pretty sure I was doing about 105 at one point before you clocked me. Either that, or I was able to get on the brakes quick enough to slow down the car just a little bit before he got a solid read on my speed. But anyhow, the rest of the story isn't that interesting as far as the police stop is concerned. However, where this gets a little bit dicey is, so remember, I'm 16 years old. I'm still living at home with my parents. It was the summertime. My parents were actually overseas in Japan. So I had to wait, you know, a good 2, 3, 4 weeks for them to get home and stew in how freaking bad I was gonna get, you know, punished while I was waiting for them to get home. It got pretty hairy. My brother just shook his head at me. He's like, "You idiot," and he wasn't wrong. I was being an idiot. But so the story ends because my parents are like, you have to get a lawyer. So I got a lawyer. You know, you're talking about a 16-year-old kid here. My parents start running me a tab, okay? And they keep track of every cent that it costs them, because I'm gonna have to pay them back. And we can talk about the shit job that I had to do to pay them back later. But the end of the story basically is that I get a lawyer, I go to court, and this guy, I guess, I don't know what would happen these days if you got a ticket for 91 and 55. To me, it doesn't seem like that big of a deal anymore, but maybe back then speeding was a bigger deal. But he negotiated less points on my license if I voluntarily said, hey, why don't you guys take my license for, was it 30 days or some, no, it was more than that. It was 2 months, 1 month? Crap, now I don't even remember. It's that unimportant. But yeah, so, lost my license for 30 days. Hope you like that story. It's kind of dumb. But yeah, as always, you guys have been awesome. I have just been riding this motorcycle. I hope you guys are doing great, and I will talk to you next time. Bye!